I just got one thing to say to BP and Transocean. Your asses should be behind bars, because it was you guys that got those people killed. Hi, I'm Tyler, and I'm here to let you know that Deepwater Horizon is no perfect movie. So Deepwater Horizon tells the true life story of an explosion that took place on an offshore oil rig, how it could have been prevented by drill workers named Mike Williams, played by Mark Wahlberg, James Trammell, played by Kurt Russell, Andrea Fleitas, played by Gina Rodriguez, and Caleb Holloway, played by Dylan O'Brien, who were all constantly at odds with their superior, Donald Vidrine, played by John Malkovich, and how they all attempt to survive the explosion afterwards. Throughout the film's entire runtime, not once did I ever look at the location and go, that's CG, completely fake. No, the set that they used to portray the Deepwater Horizon looks just as dirty, grimy, and run down as a vessel that pumps out oil and mud would genuinely look. And it does actually look as if they're in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico the entire time, as opposed to some cheap green screen set. And director Peter Berg actually very wisely shows us the audience shots of the vessel pumps as they're about to blow out, and he shoots these scenes very slowly in order to build up the tension before the vessel starts to explode. And when the explosion does actually occur, the CG fire looks very well rendered, the practical debris and things that are exploding inside the vessel look very practical, and the rapid fire editing for once actually convincingly illustrates the confusion that the characters are in without it ever look confusing. You do know who's being injured, and you see who does get killed, and how, and why, and it looks very riveting, very unsettling at times, and really intense. Now, as opposed to most disaster or survival films where the main characters are just generic tough guys or stereotyped geeks, all the characters in this film act and speak like average people, which is all the more convincing thanks to the cast performances. Before the explosion, and before he even gets on the Deepwater Horizon, we actually get to see Mark Wahlberg at home with his wife and daughter with no exposition whatsoever. Just the three of them having breakfast, him listening to his daughter's speech that she's making for a school project, and him being very witty and sarcastic, but also very supportive. And we really get the feeling as if we understand this character. With Gina Rodriguez, we get a lot of back and forth conversations between her and Wahlberg as to how she has no mechanical skills, how she can't even fix her car and as a result can't get to work on time. And with Kurt Russell, you can really tell that he's so well respected by all of his co-workers. They all nickname him Mr. Jimmy, but he's so humble about the level of respect and treatment that he gets from his other co-workers. He just wants them to do their job, do it right, do it on time, and he'll absolutely respect you. He'll be polite, he'll want to get to know you outside of work. And we really feel like he's such a sympathetic person and could actually be a legitimately real nice person. But what really surprised me about the film was the fact that they actually do explore how the disaster could have been prevented and how the survivors feel about the fact that they had the opportunity but were unable to. When Kurt Russell notices workers being sent home without doing any of the tests that they were supposed to, he's not afraid to tell off Malkovich for the fact that the cement inspection matters because it's holding the entire vessel full of 126 hard workers and expensive equipment, some of which actually needs to be replaced. But Malkovich relies on the fact that they've had positive tests as to the negative pressure that's beneath them. They're severely behind schedule, way over budget, and they need to work as hard and fast as they can to get as much barrels of oil as they possibly can. And as for after the explosion, there's one character who I will not spoil, who spends the whole movie being the one who motivates everyone to stay alive, reminds them that they have so much to live for and that they can't give up. But once they get to a hotel and they're all safe, they're all alone, they break down almost instantly, and the scene is so well shot, so well acted, done without dialogue. It was so good that I was actually fighting back some huge feelings because their performance felt so understated that I would definitely do the exact same thing if I was in that exact same position, which is really good directing and really good acting. As for problems, there are one or two characters who I felt could have been given a little more depth, particularly Dylan O'Brien, who does give a very good nuanced performance that's a lot different from what he usually does. But in terms of writing, we didn't really know as much about his personal life as we did with the other characters. But he's given as much importance to the plot, and like I said, his performance is what makes us root for him, but I felt like we could have been given one or two little facts about him that could have made us feel sympathetic for him when he was in danger. Also, Kate Hudson appears as Mark Wahlberg's wife in order to show the perspective of the workers' loved ones, how they feel helpless because they don't know what their husband or wife are going through, and the fact that they can't help them, which is very effective, but her scenes are spread out very inconsistently through the film, and I guess it's because this whole movie takes place in one day, and I guess they're trying to make it feel as if it took place in real time. But I do feel like if her scenes were bunched together into, like, one large scene, we would have had a little bit more of an emotional impact. But for me, that feels like a bit of a nitpick, because like I said, she gives a good performance, she is very well written, and her perspective is very interesting and does make us understand what she's going through. If anyone actually does get mad at this movie, it's because it's effective at making us feel upset about how 11 people died because their bosses were greedy, did not give a shit about the environmental damage they were doing, as well as the human lives at risk, and unfortunately got away with it. I don't know how. It's complete bullshit. But I do believe that the actors, Peter Berg as a director, and Matthew Michael Carnahan and Matthew Sand as writers, did the 11 victims justice. And for that reason, I'm going to give Deepwater Horizon a 4 out of 5. Guys, thanks as always for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, check out my other reviews at NoPerfectMovie.com. Thank you all so much for watching. Take care.